Welcome to another episode of Activate Your Soul Purpose. I am your host, Ina Claggett. And today I wanted to talk about just how important it is to be self-aware, especially when you have not, especially when it's something that, you haven't really spent a lot of time on. And when I mean by self-aware, I mean like being in tune with your passions, what you desire, what you want to do in life, like really tapped into that, right? I don't know. I just find that for me, my journey has always just kind of been up in the air. I kind of follow the traditional path, do good in school, go to college. But when I got to college, I didn't really know what the hell I wanted to do. I kind of had an idea, I was like, I like working with people. I like understanding why people do what they do, so I really thrived and did well in classes like sociology and psychology and things like that. And that really intrigued me, but I didn't understand or even know what the career path looked like for that or whatever. So I just kind of stuck to business. I was like, well, I know I'm not gonna be no doctor. That was never my calling, but, business, entrepreneurship, just being in business, I was like, well, I know I'm going to work and I know I'm going to, have a career. So business, it's kind of like a general thing. So I really wasn't tapped in to my passion. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know that was even important to have. I just was like, well, I'm going to get a college degree and that should be enough. I should be able to land a good job with that. Just totally unaware and just thinking that the traditional path was gonna be all right. All you got to do is just get a college degree, and then hell, you can get any damn thing. Any job. I knew a college degree was going to get me somewhere. It was almost like college degree at the very least. If you that's a great accomplishment. And then if you really want to kill the game, then you want to go to school to be a doctor or a lawyer, the prime or the primary or the traditional high profile careers or whatever, right? At least in my time. But those didn't appeal to me. So I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to go to school for business. I didn't think I can really make it doing something that I loved. Again, I liked sociology, I liked psychology, but I was like, only thing I thought about was a therapist. And I didn't really see myself wanting to just, hear people's problems or whatever, just to take that in. I just thought of a therapist and I'm like, that's not what I want to do. Although the funny thing is I do like to help people at the same time, but I just didn't see that as my role. And then I love to dance. I love movement, so I was like, I can't really get have a real, career or job being a dancer. Although I danced all my life. I've always danced up until recently. I kind of stopped. But I find that I should get back into it because I really do love to move in that way. But yeah, so I didn't think it was really, I don't know. I just didn't think it through. I wasn't really strategic about it. I just was like, I'll just do this and do that. And then, yeah, I should be fine. But that's so not it. I think it's so important to, but to tap in early as soon as you can. Maybe it just wasn't meant for me to tap in because I'm tapping in now. It wasn't really until I would say, 2023 maybe when I really was like, what is my purpose? I woke up to a new found interest, something that woke me up in my spirit when I started to learn about herbalism, when I was awakened and introduced to me from the plants themselves, being called into that space. And then from there, my business interest kind of grew. I was like, well, I could probably make a business out of this, and I did. I got started with it. I was very successful, as far as, like being able to make that into something, the start of it. I was able to meet a lot of cool people and do some speaking engagements and things like that, which is really cool. And then I was like, but is this sustainable? Because I got into it from like a production side where I was like doing a lot of the work on my own, and that kind of burned me out early, right? And yeah, I could have hired help or whatever, but I just didn't understand that. And I was like, but is this really where I wanted to go, full time? So I didn't didn't really invest too much there because I wasn't sure, right? So then that got me on the path of like, well, what is it that I really want to do? I know I like this. Why do I like this? And what am I really meant to do? I want to teach, I want to teach people. So I don't know. I feel like I'm at a point right now where I'm tapping in to that. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting that I've kind of awakened to these ideas and this thought process now. I wonder why I wasn't tapped in earlier, but when I think back into my earlier years, I always knew that I wanted that the path of college and school was for me because I do love to learn. I've always liked to learn, but I never really knew what it is that I wanted to do for real. I never really knew. And now that I'm in my 40s, I feel like I really want to make the rest of my life count. I really want to spend my time doing what I love, because I look around and I go, wow, it's such a waste to pour so much energy and time into a place that only just gives you money to survive, but you're not living life. And for me, I realized that it's really important for me to do what I love. It's healthy and correct for me. I can't just be in a place that I don't care about and really give it my all. I just can't. My heart has to be connected. I have to love what it is that I do. And just doing something for money is not really it for me either. I guess when you get started with something, like say you've been doing something for a while, like I have, as far as work, you in a rhythm, you in a routine, but I couldn't just accept something just because they're going to give me a whole bunch of money either. I just couldn't do that starting new somewhere. And that's on the only benefit is they're going to pay me. Like, nah, I got to love it. I really want to be fed, because I'm fed by the value, like being able to provide value, being able to see that I'm utilizing my gifts and my talents and I'm doing something with it. I'm making a living. I'm providing, I'm living out my purpose. I'm exercising that right, that gift. So important to know that about yourself. I feel, to know what value you bring to the table, because no matter what it is, I believe no matter where you go or how you decide to use it, whether you're working for someone else, you're lending your talents and your gift to someone else, you can at least still you still can do it with ownership of self. You could still do it with pride and with knowing that these are my gifts that I know that I am using to benefit you, to help you along your path. Because at the end of the day, we're all helping and serving one another, right? Nobody can do it on their own. We all are like pieces to the puzzle. You need my piece, I need your piece, right? But let's lend ourselves with integrity. Let's lend ourselves with self-awareness. Let's lend ourselves with power of self and knowledge of self, right? It's one thing to lead and to work from that space than to be completely oblivious and blind and you're just robotically moving about the day, only doing what you've been trained to do or what you've been told to do. It's not coming from a sense of love and a sense of self, and pride and like, this is my shit. I am giving my gifts and talents. I'm making a difference here. It's not like, oh, I'm just, you just mundanely doing shit, and not even in tune with it and don't even like it, It's like, who wants to do that day in and day out, and you're tired and you're drained and you're not being fulfilled. Your soul is not awake. It's not alive, but let you do something that you really love, that you really want to do, let you be involved in something. Like, it's so crazy where if you are like, people volunteer, people volunteer their gifts and talents because they love it so much, So I just think it's important to know what they are and know how to leverage it. So if you are someone like me that does want to get paid for your value, get paid because you want to live in that space, it's so important to allow yourself to see what that is and to learn how to do it. And learn how to do it that in a way that's correct for you. Learn how to do it in a way that's correct for you, not like someone else's blueprint, or like how we've been traditionally taught the business should be like this. Business used to work like this. It's like, that's not true. And there's so many examples out there. And I think we're all awakening to those that are searching and actually looking and trying to figure this thing out. There's so many examples of how it can be done, right? How it can be done under your own terms, where you don't have to work day in and day out like a slave, or you have to, where someone is literally owning you. I paid you, so do like I'm asking you to do. I own you. You're getting a paycheck from me, so I'm expecting you to do this. And it's like, it's the nature, it's the way that the relationship is being played out is wrong. I'm giving you this, so therefore you need to respond, or you need to act a certain kind of way, or you need to do like I'm asking you to do. It's like, nah. Let's not have that kind of relationship just because I'm getting a paycheck. No, you want my talents. You need me to help you. We are working together. So see what I'm saying? Like, it's the relationship is that of a partnership, is that of a mutual understanding, a mutual agreement, where I have power, even though I'm lending it to help you in your initiative, and you are giving me value through exchange, with money and appreciation, and you recognize my power, you recognize my talents and my gifts, and you ask me to help you, right? So it's like, let's work together. It's not one where I own you, and so therefore I control everything about your well-being. I'm giving you insurance. I'm giving you the paycheck. I'm giving you got to clock in and clock out. You got access to go to the bathroom. You can't do this. You can't do that. These are the rules. And it's like, I get it. It's your shit. You know what I'm saying? But why does it have to be in that kind of manner? So it's like, there's a new way of life, a new way of doing business. There's a new way of living that is upon us. And I am living in that new age. That's the direction I want to go in. And I embrace. Fuck that old shit. Where it's like, I rule over you because like, fuck all of that. Fuck all of that. All right. Fuck all of that. Nah. So I'm at a place where I'm like, who am I? And what am I? Who am I? And what am I here to do? Seriously, like, who am I and what am I here to do? Who the fuck am I and what am I here to do? I believe and I know and I found that I am a leader and I need to lead some shit. And I am a very good leader. I am a peaceful, loving, fair-natured leader. And if anybody works for me, whether that is an employee, a contractor, we working together as partners. I'm respecting you as much as you're respecting me, right? It's a mutual thing. We working together. And if I ever was in a situation, right now, I don't really want to have employees. I don't really want to do that. But if I ever do, I'm definitely going to be the kind of person that checks in with my people. And I'm going to encourage them. And I'm going to have, I want to have programs and, self-development plans and courses, especially for us late bloomers, like something that can help them tap into their gifts and talents, because I don't want anybody feeling like they're stuck and they have to pretend to like it to be here just so they can survive. I'm not going to punish you if you don't plan on being here forever. It's like, nah, if you under my wing, we're going to develop you. If you want to stay here and I find that you should be over somewhere else, then I will, gladly put you somewhere else. I will help you develop yourself, whether you be an employee or maybe you turn into being a client, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that could use the service of like, help me find my way, right? I feel like we all need to help find our way. Like, I'm glad that the young people are coming up under this new regime, under this new order, under this new way of life. But it's a lot of folks out here that are desperately wanting some change, desperately wanting to tap into their true nature, and they desperately want to live it fully, out in the open. They're like, I don't want to do this shit no more. I don't want to be here. But they don't know how to step out. They don't know how do you make that shit work to where you could actually make a living off of it, right? So that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I am currently working on, like in real fucking time, in real time. And I think you have to know what season you are in regards to your business. And all of us are different. Like for me, the creative expression is the most important thing for me. That's what's going to lead me to my profit, to my money exchange, to the ability to be able to make a living is through my creative expression, through my informing, and I learned all this through my self-awareness journey. I looked at a lot of things, and I love, like, if you are a subscribed podcast listener, you listen to my videos, I am a high, I highly advise or advocate for the esoteric studies. I love astrology. I love human design. I love numerology. Those tools have been so helpful for me. And the reason why I say that is because it's not only some new stuff that I wasn't aware of, but it's information that it's information that I've gathered that I can actually look back in my life and go, whoa, that's what that was. Or, wow, that's true. I've actually experienced that. Or, wow, I can look back at what was like how life was for me and connect the dots. Right. And, just kind of just analyzing myself, just looking at how I live each day. I'm like, wow, okay, now I understand what they mean by how my energy moves and things like that. Right. I can understand why things are happening. And I was meant to bloom late. It is what it is. And I remember my younger days, I was always wondering, but I never really knew what it was. But I do know for a fact that for me to find my way, to really get it, and I think it's a lot, I think this is something that can be applied to anybody that's searching, is that your steps will be revealed as you take the steps, literally. I know this firsthand because I'm doing it in real time. And I also know that I am the kind of person where I want to know the how. I want to know what the whole, give me the fucking plan. I need to know the whole thing. How is it going to be? How am I going to end up? That's the questions I've been asking all my life. I remember working in college. I was a student worker or whatever, and I worked in the counseling office and different places. And I would, when it was downtime or whatever, I would always be in somebody's office asking, what am I going to be like? What is it going to, how is life going to turn out? And how is this? And how, always asking about the future. I always trying to figure out how things was going to be and why it was going to work. I always wanted to know. I never really just trusted the process. I never really believed or wanted to wait for the step to unfold. But when I wasn't conscious of the fact that I was taking my time or waiting, and I look back and go, wow, those steps really, the path just was laid out for me. And it was at times when I wasn't looking for it. It was at times when I was completely just enjoying whatever it was that I was doing, just enjoying the experience. It was at times where I was just completely relaxed and in my creative flow. And I'm like, wow, there's a next step. Wow, so I do believe, and I do see now, wow, okay, the creative expression is, for me, the season that I'm in, to where I'm exercising my creative muscle, showing up, following the path of least resistance. So for me, that is just doing my podcast audio, and then, showing up on camera when when I feel like it. But for me, I can pop out an audio episode more quicker than I could if I had to set up production, or just even show up. Cause right now I'm in my pajamas. Okay. I'm in my pajamas. I got low light. And when you're doing a visual, to me, I don't know, I feel like you should, have the right lighting and stuff. But I'm the kind of person where in the evening time, because it's in the evening time for me, I like low lighting. So I tried to turn on the light, and then it was so bright. It was like, this is not even going to come out right, because I'm not even feeling this bright ass light. And then I want to put a shitty ass video out, as far as damn, you couldn't turn on the light, and I'm in my pajamas. I was like, nah, it's just too many hurdles to jump through, and just for me to get the message out. So it's like, nah, the easiest thing for me to do is to press record on this damn phone. I can stay in my pajamas. I can keep my low light, and I can give this creative expression, this message, and then I'll, take it to the next level. But I know that this is the best way for me to do it. It's the path of least resistance. I'm able to channel what I need to channel and say what I need to say, express what I need to express, because that's the season that I'm in. I'm developing my voice and I'm just taking steps. I'm literally just taking steps and watching the path unfold in front of me, and trusting that I'm going to get to where I want to go, that things are going to evolve and get better over time. I'm trusting that process. And so I encourage you to do the same thing, continue to be self-aware and don't give up on your dreams and your goals. And you may be a late bloomer like me in regards to like being awakened to wanting to find your purpose, being awakened to the fact that you want to do more with your life. You want to tap in. You want to know who you are. You want to, trust yourself in your journey. Trust that you're going to, stick to the plan, which I believe you will, because you have a burning desire to do so. I know for me, I have a burning desire. And for those who speak human design, yes, I have a defined ego. So, and I have desire motivation. So, yes. So that is correct for me. But I believe that if you do have a calling in you, you are going to be called up to the front, and you will be given tools along the way to help you, with your creative expression and with your development and your training on coming out into the light. So I'm just encouraging you to stay the course. Okay. Stay the course, and, don't give up, and try the path of least resistance. I know for me, when I say that, I'm going, wow, I remember how my mind works, like I consume so much information. And those of you that do speak human design, I am a 5-1 splenic manifester. And a 5-1 means that I am the one especially is what I'm referring to, is that I love information. I consume a lot of information, and I have an open head. So I'm always like trying to find the answers. I'm trying to get information and knowledge. I love it. I love to learn. I love to learn. I love to know. I love to dive deep in things that I'm interested in. And I become an expert because of that, because I will literally consume so much in my free time for fun. I like to research. I like to listen to podcasts, look at videos, read books, talk to people, go to meetings, go to trainings, take courses, do certifications. Like I do that shit for fun. Like I love it. So that's a part of my gift as well, because I have a lot of information, a lot of resources because of that. But I encourage you to tap in. But what I was saying was, like, when I say take the path of least resistance, is that I am one that, because I consume so much information, I'm already thinking about the end result. I'm already thinking about how I want to market or how I want to scale. And I'm like, can you just start with the next step? You already at the end, at the end of the road, all the way to scaling some shit that you didn't even put in place yet. Like, calm the fuck down. Like, we gonna get there. We are going to get there in due time. So I'm learning to just fall back, write it down, be excited, be motivated, but let's take one step at a time. Let's take the next step. And the next step for me is to just do these recordings. The next step for me is to get my website to a place where I like it. The next step is to, record another podcast episode. Like there's steps that need to be taken. And my season, like I mentioned before, is that of creative expression. So let's just develop your voice, develop your sound, develop your, your arena, your world, develop your world, and be okay with this beginning phase. It's okay. We all gonna fucking start from somewhere. Everybody got a starting point. And this is what mine looks like, and I want to record these things, and I want this to be the purpose of my podcast, right? The way that I envision it is that this is not a place for, not necessarily for me to get sales or whatever. I look at this as a catalog, as a library for people to come and learn about me and my teachings and my perspective, and to be inspired and to take action. And yes, there will be things for you to purchase and to get involved with. But it's like a library, a resource library, where you can come and get encouraged, get motivation, hear somebody that was, that is just like you, here's somebody that's just like you, that's taking action on their dreams, that is taking the next step, that is starting from scratch, that is starting messy, starting, looking crazy. At least that's how I feel, like, oh, wow, the beginner stage on a major platform, like I am here. It's going to be a mix of videos, mix of audio, but I'm here. I'm showing up. And I want you to do the same. Like, come on, let's look crazy together. But we ain't gonna look crazy for long. Like, this is not forever. This is just what it looks like when you're trying to figure it out. This is what it looks like when you're just trying to figure it out. Because for me, I'm doing something from the heart. I'm creating something. I'm birthing something into the world that's not yet, that has not yet taken form, but this is what I want to do. This is how I want to express myself. This is what I want to put out. Right. So I'm doing that, and I'm just going to see what happens, see what trail I leave behind. What kind of path did I carve out? What kind of symbol, what kind of structure is this? And, I want to do it. I want to get somewhere. I am going. And so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep walking. And I want this to be a place, like I said, where people could come and get inspiration and motivation. I know I love a good ass podcast. I hope that this is for you, where you can see yourself, be inspired, be encouraged, like, man, she could do that shit. I could do it too. Let me go on and write some. Let me go on and post my podcast episode. Let me go on and call somebody and see if they want to get a session, or whatever it is for you. Be inspired, man. That's what we're here to do. Like, we're here to just be like, wow, that's what I love about like YouTube and podcasting. It's like everyday people. We're out here just inspiring one another, motivating one another, sharing our gifts and our talents, and just showing up. And you may think that you look crazy as hell or whatever, but you are inspiring the hell out of somebody. Okay. I know there's lots of people that I have been inspired by, and they've gotten me up, and I'm like, yes, let me do it too. And they're like people that don't even have that wouldn't even, they're not polished. They're not like, when I say polished, like production ready or like TV, they're like people that's in their office or in their car or whatever. They're just like, they're showing up, and I'm not even that. Their production doesn't even matter to me. It's the message. It's what they're sharing. It's their knowledge. It's their spirit, their perspective. It's what they're doing, their courage, that I'm like, wow. And then once I see their growth over time, where they do get a little bit more cleaner and a little bit more clever, or they taking it up a notch, like, oh, okay, you got your groove. And that's like inspiring too. Like, wow, look at you, look at you. I see your growth. I see how you switched it up and you changed it and you've evolved. I love that, but it's like just meeting people where, at the starting point, or where they are in regards to like, just showing up for themselves, for their love of, for their love and for their, their passions, and they're just, embodying their purpose and living it out. Like, that is so inspiring to me. And that's what I want to be for you. That's what I'm here to do, is to express myself and to share my perspective, my journey with you. And whatever I create that I know can help you, I will offer that. And it is always going to be in the link below. But at the very least, let me help you. Let me motivate you. Let me inspire you just through my words, through this energy that I'm transmitting over the airways. Let this be inspirational to you to find yourself, to find your purpose, to tap into that, and to allow yourself to express express yourself in a way where you could start to see yourself or start to see your gifts and start to see what's being crafted and created in front of you. Because perhaps the only way that you're going to see it is through movement, it's through action, it's through creativity, it's through your expression. So I'm expressing myself and I'm sharing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of this and what builds. So y'all, you take care, and I will see you at the next episode. Peace.